I try a registry cleaner and see what it 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 finds in it.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
Might have some files that are in the wrong place.
Yeah.
Hey, well, welcome everybody to another Monday morning. I want to say at the top of the hour, happy birthday to Nataliya, my wife.
Hey, happy birthday to Nataliya.
We went out to IKEA, and last year, because we're on the family IKEA thing, but because my name is not there, they said no dessert for you for my birthday 5 months in May, right? So this time they said, well, they acknowledged it was her, so they go there and get one dessert. I said, well, hell, since they didn't give me my dessert in May, grab two.
There you go.
Oh man! So it was a big dinner. I guess the guy that was at the cashier said, "You guys must be really hungry." I said, "Not really. I mean, because we mixed it up. So it was great. Then we went to Boulder yesterday and enjoyed the fresh air of Boulder. I don't think I saw any homeless people in Boulder. Man, moved to a city that has money and they know how to hide their homeless people.
With the Grant Pass law being passed in Oregon June 12th, I think it was, or June 24th. I can't remember the exact date, but all the sit-stand laws, all the, quote, Jim Crow laws for the homeless are now being placed in full effect, unless, of course, you're a newcomer friend. Yeah, this is alleged, obviously. But I'm here to tell you firsthand, those programs that once existed, the monies are starting to dry up, and eventually we will have to make some adjustments.
Oh yeah, and speaking of Boulder, we went there Saturday. I think this happened on Saturday. I guess some lady politician in Boulder that she was going to have some kind of meeting, and some homeless guy was in her face about something, and she was kind to calm him down, and he ends up punching her in the face.
Oh my!
So and that I came across that. I'm not exactly sure like what was the lady's name and what was this meeting about, but and they said, well, he must have been on something. I said, you think? Or maybe he thought that, since he thought he was a binary woman and that he could go into a boxing match with another binary woman.
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Intervision FM, welcome to the Intervision FM universe. We got a bunch of topics today. Gloria Romero's in the news, and hear a little bit about her. Hunter Biden, looks like he's in the news. And will Joe Biden drop out, hand the reins over? We'll talk about this and more here on the Intervision FM podcast.
Oh yeah, man, we got a lot of stuff to go up to, but anyway, so that was pretty much my weekend. What were you guys up to this past weekend?
Just trying to start my new business on who knows, online. So we'll see what we can see. It's getting to be the Halloween season, so
already?
Spiders, snakes, ghouls, goblins, all kind of neat things like that. They are selling. Personally, I just want to sell me some candy corn so I can buy me some candy corn so I can eat me some candy corn. I love candy corn.
Oh yeah.
Don't much like Halloween, but
I put up new cupboards this past weekend.
Cupboards? You can never get enough.
Yeah.
I have so many dresser drawers. I got the 1, 2, 3, 4 dressers, and then a closet full of stuff. And I'm thinking, like I was telling my wife, we should start up an eBay store.
That's absolutely right.
And then we used to have this tradition in this building, but most of the women who used to do this have died.
Yeah.
So somebody who died, these women would hurry up and go to the apartment and then start ravishing through whatever that person's had. And like I said, most of them have died. So my wife used to say, "Oh, if I die before you, don't let those women in." I said,
That's right.
I said,
That's
how do
right.
you even know those women going to be light? I mean, these women are old, and I don't know what they did with this stuff, once they got it, and now they have it, they're no longer around. So, you know, what did they do with all that stuff? Probably just dumped it all in the trash can. And I mean, I tell you, these people, I some of them, they won't let you all the way in the door. They used to not let you all the way in the door. They would crack the door, because if you looked in the door from the kitchen back to the living room kitchen, full of stuff. And I'm thinking, like, you can't take it with you. So
I got it.
Hoarders are a different breed, man.
yeah.
They're different. I knew a couple of people that were hoarders. This one old guy, he wasn't really a hoarder, but he collected. He had one of those old what are the tractors? Stanley steamers in his
Oh yeah.
yard.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Tons of just oddball stuff like that, and they all work.
Yeah.
They worked. Wow.
And his
Gee.
wife couldn't stand it. She just acted like she was such a mean old hag, but she just had a heart of gold.
Yeah. I had a friend that, I don't know what her mother did to her when she was younger, but she didn't want her mother ever to know where she lives in another state, because she was afraid that her mother might want to move in with her. So this girl's mother was, so I don't know what she did when she was younger, but she was so hard that, and she had died in her house. And in order for them to get to her, it took about a day and a half to clear enough stuff so they can go in and find her body, of course.
Um,
And I said, well, that is just wow. Or I was this lady. So she had this trail, and she loved that she was with the blind guy, because he couldn't look to the left and to the right and see all the
Right.
stuff, right?
Right.
So her garage was full, and then so she lifted up her garage one day because her car could no longer would fit in one side, and the neighbor said, "Wow, you got a lot of stuff in there." She got angry at the neighbor because the neighbor was being nosy at looking at her garage. But
Wow.
if you open up your garage and
Can't
somebody's
help
walking
but see all
by,
this stuff.
somebody's going to see it, right?
Yeah.
And so her, I think it was her second husband, because I was fortunate enough to not to be the third. He threw her out because every time they wanted to clean up the place, they would say, "Oh, I'm too tired," and go back to sleep and sleep. And then he just finally said, enough, because he had a house, and he just ended up serving her with the divorce papers, throwing the stuff out on the front yard. And she had to, get a U-Haul to get all this stuff out. And I can understand, because I tried to intervene and say, "Hey, let's start cleaning up your place," because you can't invite anybody to come in and fix your sink, your stuff like that. You can't invite the maintenance people in because all this stuff. And then she started reading these letters that she got. And I said, if we read every letter that you saved, we'll be here until the end of time. And then she got mad, and then, but it says, yeah, they're a certain breed. And I understand, you got your son's first paper he wrote in the third grade.
Right.
But after that, what is this other stuff?
Don't forget to toss a comment down below. What are some of the experiences you run into here in the Intervision FM universe?
What hoarders?
What sort of hoarders, do you run into just in life, as we economically start experiencing a downturn here in the United States, but also globally, as we start to give up the fact that we are the reserve world currency, and we start taking the hit and realizing, hey, we're not the biggest fish anymore.
Hey,
United States.
and think of this, and if they hit our electrical grid, our water grid, and all that kind of stuff, and you happen to be one of these people, I very, I could you imagine what would happen? Now, if you live in an apartment, yeah, I don't know, you could stay there, but if you live in a house, and people are these illegals are walking by your house, and they say, "Wow, it looks like a lot of stuff there," but you can't sell any of the stuff to food or anything. You just I don't know, man. It's just I see that big scenario of like what your water is not running more, no public service, no toilets, no nothing, but you got all this stuff. Woo woo.
Right.
Oh man. She. So I'm just wondering, like, will that happen in our lifetime with the electrical and all those grids get hit by a cyber and we're without maybe a week, maybe a month, and how that scenario is going to go.
Some people will end up being okay if they can get to materials to build things that make electricity, like hand crank generator built out of miscellaneous things, paper clips, magnets, screws, wires, springs, just stuff.
Yeah. Hey,
You know.
before I get on, these people that they brought in from Haiti,
Oh man.
this person says they out in this park. They said they're having sacrifices. They just cut off the heads of these geese and whatever, and take them off and either eat them or have their sacrifice. Could you imagine? It's like you want to see voodoo in your front yard.
So you're hanging out in
Yeah.
Springfield, Ohio. It's morning time. You go out to enjoy a nice little walk around the lake, and you see these folks, and they're only doing what what they do in their country. 20,000 of them suddenly get dropped off in a rural town like, around Springfield, Ohio area. And so you're walking around the lake and see these folks just popping the heads off these ducks and just taking them off and doing whatever. I mean, oh, where is that? I mean, do we still live in America? Wow.
I tell you what I found really odd living here when we built our house. Some of the guys that were on the group that built it,
Yeah.
they cut a chicken, bled a chicken in our footings for whatever purpose. And I tell you what, we had some demons in this house
Yeah.
for a long time, and it was crazy. I was always seeing shadows in the house, and I always felt like somebody was looking over my shoulder.
You know what? My daughter just moved in this new place, and she's in the basement, and it's one of those houses where you stay for 3 months to get enough money. And she says she's sleeping now, and she said it feels like somebody's watching her. And and I said, you better, get some that anointing oil, get some of your church friends, and come in there and anoint that place because you don't know what spirits are left
That
behind.
is, people don't believe that, but it is so true. I mean, we had our pastor come over here, and they went through the house and did all kinds of stuff and got rid of all the demons. It was scary. I mean, scary.
Isn't that what that movie Beetlejuice is about?
Sure.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I used to hear that name. I thought it was like some extraterrestrial.
Well, it's also a star system or a star that
Yeah,
actually, yeah.
Hmm.
But
Okay. Well, yeah, because and now I'm tempted to watch if I can find it, the audio just described version of
you
the
won't be
movie.
missing anything.
It's on Netflix again now.
Yeah, you won't be missing anything. I mean, I don't know.
It's not the best because I hear the critics say, hey, the first one wasn't that good, and the second one,
Eh,
but it made $100 million for whatever reason.
well, witchcraft sells. like I was saying, I mean, I start a business, man. Why not start punking some skeletons and some spiders and some whatever on a coffee mug, for Halloween? Except, what is that? I mean, yeah, just because I need a little bit of money. How do I justify that to my maker? You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? No, I'm not saying that I'm only saying, is that for me? No, no, I mean, I'll probably do something else for this store, whether it be fall harvest stuff or whether it be, Christmas related, whatever. But, the bottom line is, if you're going to do something, do it. Be true to yourself. Don't flip flop like Kamala Harris. Don't,
Yeah.
you know, tomorrow's the big debate, and folks are thinking, well, is she going to show up? Is she not going to show up? Is he going to wreck her? Is that going to be a good thing if he wrecks her? Because the last time, uh, when
If
he
she
wrecked,
shows up, she's dead. She don't show up, she's dead.
Ah, yeah.
yeah, she's darned if she does,
Yeah.
darned if she doesn't.
And tomorrow, one of tomorrow's topics is, DirecTV is negotiating with ABC, what's that, Disney Channel and stuff like that, and they're taking those channels off. So there's a large number of people who are direct cable channel subscribers that, unless they have figured out another way of watching this debate, will not be watching it. So they have a skew count of how many people were actually watching it on through ABC.
Oh, interesting. Huh.
Right. And they said, is that on purpose? They stretch out the negotiation this long, or what is it? Well,
People are
anyway,
going to go on there for the entertainment value.
Yeah.
Watch it. Because Joe Biden was such a hilarious joke,
oh yeah,
and it really was. People would go there just for the entertainment value.
yeah, that was pretty interesting. Yeah.
No, I
So
will be watching it tomorrow for sure. We'll see what happens. It does look like it'll be interesting if it is allowed to go forward. What do you folks think about the sentencing being postponed?
of not
Trump, you
Hunter,
mean?
not Hunter, but
Yeah,
Trump.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So they were gonna have it on September 18th, and they postponed that one.
Yeah, to
Yeah.
November 26th, I think.
Huh. Yeah, I sort of like vaguely was hearing about that, and it went across my path, but I didn't really. But what I was getting was the after talk about they're finding out, in real time that we've been talking about it for the longest. It's just now the fake news are starting to talk about they have no case. They're grabbing at stuff that they're going to start losing a lot of businesses in New York if they keep going the way they're going. And what is New York going to be if that happens?
Snake's Plissken.
It's, gee, and a lot of people like New York. I have a friend here. He's talking about he wants to move back to New York because he really likes walking on the beach and stuff like that. I guess the Coney Island, whatever waterfront that is, and it's very therapeutic and all that kind of stuff. And I don't know. And I guess there's parts of New York that are nice, but I don't know how long that could last with the policies that they have. And what is this guy? It was something about oh man, I'm mixing tomorrow's show and today, so I got to stop that because there's so many things that I want to talk about in this show, but I mean we're packed enough here. I'm kind of figure like when they get through with all this silliness, can you go back to normal? because they were claiming like when they did the pandemic, this is the new normal, and people rejected that and said, no, this is not the new normal. All right. So can they actually, after all this lawfare, go back to normal, or will that be the new normal?
Depends on how things transpire. Let's just say that the debate goes the way that we think that it may go, and Trump uh, continues to skyrocket in the polls. What's going to transpire on November 5th when, or on or about, because obviously there's going to be a little bit of a delay.
I
What's
hope
going
not.
to transpire after the election? Will there indeed be this peaceful transfer of power? Let's just say that Biden does indeed decide to bow out and hand the reins over to Kamala Harris.
You
She'll
mean
be the
like
first.
some people are saying like have a stroke or something like that, or something
However,
else?
however he bows
or
out.
something.
Yeah, however he bows out. If she becomes president, um, then what? Because at that point, there will be the peaceful transfer of power. There will be the idea that.
Wait,
Go ahead.
wait. The peaceful handover of handlers.
How's that going to work? So Biden bows out. Harris, pardons the family, and or Biden,
Of
depending
course,
on if he's still kicking, whatever.
of
Then
course.
Tim Walz becomes vice president at that point? Is that, or does the Speaker of the House step up?
Yeah.
I wonder
Speaker-
how
Well,
that works.
I don't think that they can put walls in.
Right, because he was never elected.
Yeah, and vice
In the first
president
place.
is an elected spot.
Right, and
So-
it is an elected spot. So would then the Speaker of the House have to move up at that point and become vice president?
And I heard some talk, and this is kind of crazy. I think this is crazy. They said, well, because it's a new poll that came out, which I don't really trust these polls. It said Trump 64, Harris 54, and they're saying like, well, what if she can just switch him out? It's too late.
Oh yeah, the stuff is already being printed. First early polls are slated to go out on the 19th, I think, something like that.
I thought North Carolina, they were supposed to, well, no, they got held up because of some kind of, because of RFK getting
Right.
taken off. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Wisconsin too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's going to be really dicey, man. So what about Gloria Romero? What's Gloria Romero's in the news?
There was some kind of hint that she was going to go this way. Remember when Larry Elder was running, it was a recall for Newsom.
Right, the recall election for California.
And she stepped up and she supported him. So her Democratic colleagues looked over and said, well, we know where you stand, right? And so in some cases, they said they weren't that surprised at this decision. And of course, she is totally against them denying students choice in what school they go to, the parents and the kids in school choice.
So Gloria Romero is another of the folks that are leaving the Democratic Party.
Yes, yes. And I'm more impressed with the ones that are coming over on this side than I am the ones that are leaving and going over to that side. And
there are a few Republicans that are indeed leaving and going over to their side, but man, the damage that's being done by these high-powered Democrats or even independents like RFK coming and joining the MAGA movement.
Yeah.
Man, there's nothing like it.
Yeah. Now let me lay this down because I heard this earlier. Okay, remember like when Republicans used to be just known for being full of like rich guys and that was it.
Sure.
But one thing I didn't know, and probably you guys knew this, that the rich Democrats would hang out with the rich Republicans, and it would just be one big happy party. And they kept saying like, you guys got the diversity, you should draw in these other group, and it just wasn't happening. Then when Trump came along, it happened, and then most of these guys that are going over to the Democrat side were part of that rich boy group, and they don't like the fact that now these down the earth blue collar guys are on the team because they were only given lip service to that. And so those are the guys, they were never on, well, the mixing up the Republican side. They were always on just the rich boys and partying with the other Democrat rich boys and girls. And so this is just them just showing their true colors and going where they would have been if Trump hadn't come along.
I'd postulate this has been going on since 1871. So it's right after Andrew Jackson's term, and or right during and after Andrew Jackson's term, and the central banks hadn't been created yet.
That's not Andrew Jackson. That's 1871 is Grant, isn't it? Not Andrew Jackson. Andrew Jackson was prior Civil War. Right after John Adams.
I almost want to say
McKinley.
When was Andrew Jackson president?
It happened from March 4th, 1829 to March 4th, 1837.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right.
The central banks had been in power shortly after the Revolution.
Right.
They lost their thing and they wouldn't put it back. They came back in with John Quincy Adams. Andrew Jackson kicked them back out again.
Yep. And so after the central banks were kicked out the second time was when stuff really started changing. So by 1871, after the Civil War, after Lincoln left office, was assassinated, after the Reconstruction started taking place in full swing, is when I believe, I don't know. I mean, I honestly believe that maybe some stuff in the Constitution might have been looked at and said, we kind of want to get away from following the original founders and framers, what their ideas were within that founding document. So if we could quietly, as Congress, change a few things here and there, that would be to our benefit. Both Republicans and Democrats, I postulate, kind of got together.
You got to look at who paid for the Civil War and who made money on the Civil War.
That's a good point. Who did pay for the Civil War?
Bank of England.
There you go. And who made the money on the Civil War? Bank of England.
Bank of England.
Yep.
Central banks.
It's absolutely, I mean, everything goes back to that. Everything goes back to the crown is really all it boils down to.
The gold rush years, that all went to the Bank of England.
That is
they paid off the Civil War debt with. But when McKinley came into office, then the country just absolutely exploded, and there was no central bank stuff anywhere.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the Industrial Revolution was totally in full swing by that point. We had, oh man, the greatest growth ever, innovations, American ingenuity. And that's really what is standing to be brought back in spades if um, I believe if Trump is reelected. Certainly, can he do this all alone by himself? No, he's a one-term president.
Do you
But
know on his website he has a 16-page PDF
yeah,
of his details, and Kamala Harris, what's the nick for Comrade Harris, has a outline that a high school student could put together.
yeah, it is interesting. She finally, as of I think either yesterday or today, put something up on her campaign website as far as policy. And interestingly enough, if you go to her website and you go to her stuff, it's all about Project 2025. This, how Trump is going to blah 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 that, and it's not even policy. You know, I mean, it's more rhetoric about Project 2025. What is interesting about that, obviously, is the idea that Project 2025 is not even Trump's deal. I mean, as we've been talking about here, something doubly interesting. I seem to remember a time when Obama used some ideas within the Heritage Foundation to help to make his case for providing universal health care. So, I mean, if they're wanting to cry and whine and use stuff about the Heritage Foundation, folks need to remember that Obama used some of the stuff from the Heritage Foundation. It's been around since Reagan era. Because some of the stuff in the Heritage Foundation, some of their doctrine, I guess you might say, is some pretty good stuff. Good enough to where even the Democrats would use it, like Obama.
Yeah, this whole thing is getting kind of interesting. And where it drops, nobody. We sort of know. And then I heard this one part. Okay, this guy was talking to his cousin who knows somebody in the FBI, and he said, "Well, hey, who do you think is going to?" He says, "Well, I'm not sure, but I'll know because my other relative in the FBI, he'll tell me who's going to win." And that's pretty scary. That how is the FBI going to know before we know? Unless of course they have access to all the real polling, the real reflection. And then I heard this thing about it's on YouTube where this lady's going from door to door, and she's knocking, and she's very upset because everybody is saying they're going to vote for Trump and not for her candidate Harris, and she keeps going to door to doors. Yeah, and I said, okay. I mean, I don't know. And then they talk about the algorithms of that machine. I was listening to this guy. His name is Jerome Carson, Dr. Jerome Carson. If you listen to Coast radio show, if you look in their website, you'll see him. But he was talking about how they can ghost a name through these machines, and make it appear, that these people really exist for any election, and it's almost like it's mind-boggling that if we know this is happening, and we know that it's been a long line of these relatives of friends and friends have always been put into the White House, right? And it's hard to say, like, our next president, he used to be a truck driver. Yeah, for real. He used to be a truck driver.
Right.
That's why Trump upset the system so bad, because he wasn't in that line. Not in that line.
Yeah.
Well,
So
the interesting thing is, as long as you have a Republican or a Democrat As long as they have that blob mentality going on, they'd let him in. Donald John Trump, as Hey Joe was saying, is an outlier. How he got in, boy, that's just, I mean, that's
Hmm.
proof that God's on the throne. He,
Yeah.
he sets up
Absolutely.
all of our he sets up all of our leaders anyway. But man, think about it. You've got the whole system against this guy, and
Hmm.
this guy should have been squashed a long time ago. Why is he not? Well, I honestly believe God's hands on him.
And he truly loves this country, unlike these other banditos who just want the power. Now, yeah, okay, Joe is in there. Joe is in there as the figurehead,
Mhm.
and then the history will say, "Oh, he was the president," but who was he really? He was just a puppet, I
Stop,
think, just a puppet.
stop, stop it.
Yeah,
It's just a
yeah.
placeholder. I mean, his family made some money. It basically the Democrats have now been in charge for 12 of the 16 years. That over the last 16, and the bottom line is this, man. I was looking at this and I was like, all right, so if Trump wins, what is it going to be? 4 more years of TDS, Trump derangement syndrome. If Trump loses, well, then what do people have? Trump's gone at that point.
Hmm.
There's no
The
more.
country's gone at that point.
Well, the country's gone at that point. Yeah, the country
Yeah.
Hmm.
itself is gone at that point. But what I'm saying is, all this hate, all this division, it's got to stop because
Yeah.
one way or the other, we're going to have an election or not. I mean, there are people that say, oh, we may not even have an election. Boy, that happens. Well, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But
Oh,
go ahead.
oh no, never mind. No, I keep wanting to throw in something's going to happen tomorrow, but I got to save it for tomorrow's show. Never mind. Go ahead. Ah,
So definitely stay tuned tomorrow. We got some really good stuff on deck. Uh,
oh, this day in history. I forgot about that. Um, okay. This day in history. On this day, Rolling Stone came, 1965 came out with their album Get Off of My Cloud."
yeah,
So that came out, and I'm going just from memory. Tupac, uh, his I guess his birthday is in September, and he really made some changes. And then Kanye West in 2007 came out with I think the graduation to college grad. Well, it was the album that they came out, and then Nas, he did something, but I totally forgot what he did. But anyway, wait a minute. Yeah, yeah, it's in our notes. So you can let us know what you think about the history of this day in history in music. So before I forget.
hey, speaking of elections and things like that, how's your campaign going? You're running for House District number 5.
Yeah, we're going to go out this coming Saturday to door knock.
Oh, good.
And we're trying to keep it local. Let's forget about what Trump is doing or Harris is doing. Let's keep, what do you want
That's
here to
right.
see and here in Denver? What would make your life better here in Denver? And let the national stuff do the national stuff, but let's keep it real and keep it here. And
Yeah.
of course, tomorrow night we're going to be at the club Your Mom's House with Tony Giz
Right.
doing his concert tomorrow. And then he has another one coming up at the Pavilion, the Levitt Pavilion on Sunday, the 16th. No, the 15th. Yeah. So anyway, so a lot of stuff is going on this week. And also I was invited to 2 housewarming parties. So I don't know. That's, have you guys ever went to a housewarming party? And what do you bring?
I bring food and I bring small gifts. Big gifts are okay. Also,
Why you
sometimes
bring
they'll
What?
say again.
White elephant gift.
Yeah, white
Yeah.
elephant gifts. They often will have gift registries for these things. So yeah, I mean it's a lot of cool stuff, but yeah, I don't stress too much about it. People obviously always need small amenities,
Hmm.
towels,
Well,
soap.
so we shall say
Laundry soap.
it's up in there if we're gonna go on the 13th. And then this couple with kids, they invited us on the 28th. So I said, man, what are all how these things come? I've never been invited to one of these until now. I lived this long, never been invited to one. So I guess they happen. And when I came in my house, I didn't even think about inviting people over to bring stuff. I just moved in and went on about my business. But I guess in some areas that's a somewhat of a tradition. But who knows? But anyway, so
Cool
that's
day tomorrow. Don't forget the debate. We're gonna have some fun. Got Tony Negus' concert tomorrow, and another one on Sunday. I've been out of the loop, man. I'm sorry, Johnny.
oh yeah, understandable. I understand that. All right. So God bless you guys tomorrow.
God bless.